Court will soon be asked to decide if President Trump had the authority to impose his reciprocal tariffs on just about every nation and every product. But one local industry that would like to actually see more tariffs, specifically on foreign crab meat, is the seafood industry. The Chesapeake Bay Seafood Industries Association has been asking for foreign crab meat tariffs since the late 1990s. Going way back that far, reporter Tim Prudente from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, joining us in studio, which I appreciate. Thank you, Tim. Just dropped a report on a renewed fight to tariff and discourage foreign, specifically Venezuelan crab imports in our state. So in Maryland, we take our blue crab meat very seriously. How widespread is the invasion, I guess you could call it, of foreign crab meat for those of us who go to the store or go to restaurants here?
The Maryland Department of Agriculture believes that a majority of restaurants in Maryland are selling foreign crab meat in their crab cakes and their dips and in all their dishes.
And the number of processors, at one time you say there were about 50 in this state. How that industry has shrunk dramatically, hasn't it?
It has. In the late 90s, when they started this fight, there were about 50, and today there's estimated to be about a dozen left.
Now, we know there are always these issues with labor, these temporary labor permits, but is that what has cut the number down, or is it the fact that so much foreign crab meat, which is less expensive, is actually being consumed?
They point to a number of factors. Certainly the labor issues that they're having, but also the competition from foreign crab meat. I just heard from one processor yesterday after the story published that they had another customer who left them to go for Venezuela crab meat because it was $10 cheaper per pound.
Wow. And you say Venezuelan. That was a surprising thing when I read your report, because right now, if foreign crab meat comes in here, that's mostly where it's coming from?
I believe it's in 2018, Venezuela became the largest source of foreign crab meat into the United States.
Do they have blue crabs?
They do. They do. They have the same exact species of crab that we have here in Chesapeake Bay.
And they just underprice to the point where the restaurants can't resist it?
Yeah, I've heard of cheaper grades, like some of the claw meat, being below $20. And the Maryland processors say they can't match that price.
Well, we know that our president, President Trump, has a contentious relationship with the country of Venezuela and its president, et cetera. So these local crab processors are asking for these tariffs to be hiked high, which would discourage the buying of that. But that hasn't happened so far. What tariffs are they paying on Venezuelan crab meat?
Right now, Venezuela has a 15% tariff, and it's one of the lowest across the board. And that's what the Maryland seafood industry can't seem to understand, why we have certainly a contentious relationship with the Venezuela government, and yet the tariffs remain so low compared to other countries.
In your report, you talk about lobbyists working on behalf of foreign crab processors. Do you think that figures into it?
Well, it's one of the theories from the Maryland seafood industry. There is a very influential lobbyist group known as the National Fisheries Institute that's spending about $800,000 a year lobbying on all sorts of issues that affect the seafood industry.
All right, well, as I said, we take this very personally here. So you need to take, if you want to buy local, you want to buy Maryland blue crab, make sure and you check out your container. You may pay a little more for it, but it's local. All right, great story. Thank you, Tim, for joining us. If you'd like to read his story, other great independent reporting from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, head to thebaltimorebanner.com.